Hello, this is Bill with a reading update. So I've recently finished The Golem and the Jinni by Helene Wecker. So this was a very enjoyable read. So I've been collecting these olive editions because they're cheap. So normally they would cost me about $12.50, but I've been buying the remainders on Book Outlet. So usually less than $5, because I buy them when they have good sales on, like buy two get one free. So I use this as a way to discover authors that normally I wouldn't read. So in this case it was a success, a very enjoyable book. So on Goodreads, there's more than 7,000 have tagged this as fantasy, and about 750 as magical realism. But I would probably tag it as magical realism. It's only the second book I've read that could be classified as magical realism, so I'm not an expert at it, at the classification. But for the most part, the story's very realistic. Takes place in New York, Manhattan, in 1899. So there's good descriptions of the Jewish neighborhood and the Syrian neighborhoods. So and also the culture and the people. What makes it magical realism is the Golem and the Jinni, and then maybe a couple other people that dabble in the magical arts. So I wasn't going to tell you too much about the origins of the Golem and the Jinni, because it's best to discover those as you're reading the book. But Golem gets part of our backstory here in the first paragraph. The Golem's life began in the hold of a steamship. The year was 1899. The ship was the Baltica, crossing from Danzig to New York. The Golem's master, a man named Otto Rotfeld, had smuggled her aboard in a crate and hidden her among the luggage. And the Jinni's story starts 1,000 years in the past in the Syrian desert. So when they both arrive in New York, they don't have any names, but I'll let you read the story to discover how they got their names. And many reviewers like to give you a list of all the main characters, but that's minor spoilers. That it's better if you discover the characters along the way. That there's many characters, but they're easy to keep track of because their characteristics are well described and introduced over time, not all at the beginning. So the book is mainly about how the Golem and the Jinni are learning how to pass as humans. So all their internal conflicts, and then conflicts with the people in the community, and then the conflicts between the two of them, which have very different personality when they eventually meet later on in the book. So that's about all I'll say about the story. That it's best if you just read it and discover the details on your own. But if you're interested in immigrant culture in New York around 1900, another good book to read is The Jungle by Upton Sinclair. This one is the uncensored original edition. So about 1974 I read The Jungle, but it was probably the censored version. So it was a library book. So how do I remember that it was 1974 when I read it? Well, I don't, but what I remember is while I was reading it, Black Water by the Doobie Brothers was playing several times a day on the radio. So if you look that up, it was a hit in 1974. So what I'm currently reading is Star Trek, the motion picture. The only Star Trek book I have. So I thought maybe I'd read a book for Book Trek. So this is a novel by Star Trek's creator Gene Roddenberry, based on the screenplay by Harold Livingston and the story by Alan Dean Foster. So does that mean that Alan Dean Foster wrote a novel and then Harold Livingston created screenplay for it? from it, and then it's made into a movie, and then the movie was turned back into a novel. So that's all for this video. See you in the next one.